Alright, this is the answer key to the practice quiz for 3.1 and 2. A lot of this just comes from experience. When you're asked to find the derivative, look at this. This is nothing special. It's just the power rule done twice. This is the sum of two individual derivatives. So y prime then is equal to the power rule, brings that out and multiplies the 4 times the 1/2. That gives you 2. And kick it down a notch, subtract 1 from 4, and you're at 3. Plus 3 times 10 is 30x squared. So that's your answer. Then 2x to the third plus 30x squared. This one now you're given 3 very different looking functions, and we're just taking various combinations of them. Alright, this is a product. That is the derivative then, so it's going to be our classic product rule. The first times the derivative of the second, so g of x and then h prime of x, plus h of x times g prime of x. If you were to given this on a quiz, it wouldn't hurt to just take each one and write above it what their individual derivatives are. G prime of e to the x is just e to the x. Know that. F prime of x, well, that's x to the 1/2, so out in front comes that 1/2, and then subtracting 1 from 1/2 gives you x to the minus 1/2. You could write, okay, that's 1/2 times 1 over the square root of x, which equals 1 over 2 radical x. But in the beginning you could start with it like this. It is good to get rid of negative exponents, so ultimately that's a good way to write it. We'll see when we come down to simplifying how much we need to do. Alright, then h of x, I should have written this above, but h prime of x, the derivative of the sine is the cosine, so know that. Okay, that's from before. Alright, so now I can just sub in, well, g of x is e to the x, and h prime of x, I just go and write cosine of x, plus h of x is the sine of x, and g prime of x is also e to the x. And you do not need to factor that out, although I suppose the book would. I'll write it just in case, but I am not requiring this. Okay, so that's good though, right there. Now we've got a quotient rule. This is just taking the derivative. You just have to get used to the two different forms. It would be no different if I covered that up and wrote the prime mark there. Alright, so this is going to be the bottom, g of x, times the derivative of the top, h of x, minus the top, h of x, times the derivative of the bottom, g prime of x, all over, you remembered it, g of x squared. Okay, so again I'm just going to substitute in g of x is e to the x, h prime of x is the cosine of x, minus the sine of x. Actually, if you look at it, it's going to be the exact same thing up above, but with a subtraction sign in there, and minus sine of x, and then e to the x all over e to the x squared. Okay, well now in this case you can cancel an e to the x everywhere. So I can cancel one there, cancel one there, cancel one there, and it would be good. Again, this is sensible. Hopefully it jumps out at you. Again, you're not going to lose too many points. If you don't, the main thing is you set it up correctly. Okay? If you set it up incorrectly, then you would definitely get the wrong answer. This is now a product rule over a quotient rule. So this is just a combo problem. It's going to be somewhat lengthy, but grind it out. So the bottom, g of x, times the derivative of the top. Alright, well put big brackets because that's going to be h of x and then f prime of x plus f of x, no prime there, and then h prime of x. That's the product rule. So the bottom times the derivative of the top, there's the whole derivative of the top, minus the top, which is just these two things multiplied, h of x and times f of x, times the derivative of the bottom, g prime of x. Okay, and that whole thing is being subtracted, so double brackets all over g of x squared. Alright, so I'm going to skip subbing that all in to make the tape shorter. You'll see on the online version that I just subbed it all in there. Okay, on to this one. Here we know that the point 0, 1, let's plug in 0. If I plug in 0, that drops away, and that is just e to the 0, so that is 1. Sketch over this domain. So if I go -2 to +2, I get a graph that I believe comes down like this and then kind of goes up like that. And we're at the point 0, 1. Right there is 0, 1, and we're looking for like a tangent line there. Alright, so I'll let you put that on your calculator and figure that out, but I'm pretty sure that's what it'll look like. So we want to find the slope of the tangent line. That's all about the derivative. So f prime of x, this is not the product or the quotient rule, but we are going to use e to the x. But if I take the power rule, multiply the 4 times 1/2, I get 2, x to the 3 plus e to the x. So that is the derivative. And then f prime of 0, when I plug in 0, I get just e to the 0 again, which equals 1. So my slope there is going to be 1. So now my equation will determine the slope of the tangent line at P. M equals 1 because I've subbed in 0 at the derivative. Find the equation of the line. Well, I'm going to write it down here. Y minus 1 equals the slope 1 times x minus 0. And I can simplify that, and y minus 1 equals x. So y equals x plus 1. That is the equation of that line. More practice, just what we needed. Alright, so this is a chance for you to show off your good algebra skills. As you look at this, you always want to think, is there a way I can simplify this? And there is. This is x times x plus 5 over x plus 5 times x minus 5. So you can cancel the x plus 5s, and you've got x over x minus 5. So really, you can take the derivative of this, which is the bottom, x minus 5 times the derivative of the top, 1, minus the top x times the derivative of the bottom, which is 1, all over x minus 5, the bottom, squared. So this becomes x minus 5 and then minus x over x minus 5 squared. Well, that equals, the x's cancel, and you get minus 5 over x minus 5 squared. Okay? So again, simplifying it in this case is a good thing. If you went and did it all the long way, it would probably be a bit of a mess. If you laid it out clearly, you'd still get major credit, but this is ultimately what it would simplify down to. Find the derivative in two ways and show that they agree. Well, this is all about just using the product rule. So f prime of x using the product rule is the first times the derivative of the second, which is x plus 2 times 1 plus the derivative plus the second times the derivative of the first, x minus 3 times, guess what, 1. So this is going to be x plus 2 plus x minus 3 equals 2x, and then minus 3 plus 2 is 2x minus 1. That's the answer. Or I can FOIL it all out, and so f of x is equal to x squared minus x minus 6. And then when I do each of these things individually, it's going to be 2x when I do the power rule, minus 1 when I do the power rule, minus 0 equals 2x minus 1. And these guys agree. Okay? That's it. Hope that helps.